Okay, for today's activity, you're going to create an interactive slideshow in Canva. So it's going to look something like this. You'll notice I have several slides down here. And when I play my presentation, it's going to present me with questions. So click here for a ghost story, click here for a spooky story. Notice when I click on this, it brings me somewhere. And now I have the beginning of a story. The reader of the story will choose the story they're going to tell by reading it and then choosing an option. Okay, this is just beginning, but let me show you how I did this. So I'm going to go back to Canva and I'm going to create a new design. You'll do the same thing. You're going to create a presentation and you can choose the presentation that is 16 by 9. Okay, when you get in here, I'm going to search for a template. So I'm looking for a Halloween-y kind of template. And as I look, I see, oh, I like this template. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag the first slide over. Okay, of course I would change my text. So I could say Halloween scary story. Whoops. Okay, I could make my text box bigger by dragging this out and I could move it around. Okay, so you'll notice on your slides, and I'm going to just add a couple slides here. You'll notice that there's a number here. So when I click on that, and if I click on the three dots, it says add page title here. So I'm going to call this page 1, the start. Okay? And then I'm going to move to my page 2. So my page 2 is where we have the question. So I'm going to click on the three dots and I'm going to say, do I want a ghost versus spooky story? Okay. And what I can do at this point is I can go to design and I can choose a slide that I like. Maybe I like this slide and I can get rid of some text here. I can get rid of some text here and I could move this object over here, make it a little bit bigger and change the text that's going to go. Let's move him over too. And I'm going to say, click here for spooky story. Again, I might have to resize things. Notice I'm clicking off so that I can move my text. Okay, and now I can start my interactivity. Okay, a couple things before we start that. Notice I can click on this object and I can change the color. So I can make the color of this object a different one. For this one, I can change a couple different colors. Well, it's actually showing me the colors I can use. Okay, so if you click on it, you get one dot. You click on it, you can come over and choose a color from the left-hand side. Okay, so you'll notice on my slides, I've got some names. I have page 1, start of story, and page 2, ghost versus spooky story. So let's add a couple more slides. Okay, on this slide, I'm going to click on the three little dots. I'm going to come up to the page title, and I'm going to call this start of spooky story. Okay, so I could also put in, since it is slide 3, might make it easier for me to know if I have the number in there. Okay, so now the title changes. Okay, on this slide, I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a text box and I'm going to type part of my story. Okay, notice if I click off it, I can move it. If I double click it, I can change it. So type beginning of your story here. Okay, so my story has to do with an older couple who happen upon somebody who's broken down in their car. I'm the person in the car, so I have to figure out how I'm going to react to this couple who comes to me. So I'm going to click on elements, and notice when I click on elements, I've searched for rectangle, and I've gotten all kinds of different rectangles. So I want you to look around at the rectangles that are there, choose one that you like, and drag it out. Now you're looking for two things. You're looking that you can change the color. This one I can't. And you're looking that you can resize it. So I'm going to remove that one. Let's try this one. Okay, so for this one, I can resize it. Okay, I can't make it wider, but I can change the color. Okay, so let's make this color an orange. Okay, I'm going to put that choice over here, and I'm going to click on a text box. I'm going to drag out a text box, and my text is going to say, so I'm going to give 3 different choices for what to happen when this old couple comes to you in your broken down car. Okay, so we can say, you introduce yourself to the couple. Okay, notice here's my text. I can change the size of it, and I can click and drag it and place it on top of this. Okay, so if this is the option that my reader chooses, I'm going to link them to go to the next part of the story, which is on slide 4. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to click on the 3 little dots. I'm going to go down to link, and I'm going to say go to page 4, which is right now untitled. Okay, so page 4, let's rename it. Okay, and we're going to rename it to introduce self, just so I can figure out where I'm going. And then I'm going to continue along the storyline. So maybe when I introduce myself to the couple, something happens, and maybe I need to make another decision. Okay, then I would go to whatever slide I'd like to. I'm going to add a couple slides because let's say the introduce yourself to the couple storyline takes 3 slides to happen. Okay, on coming back to here, I could just click and drag around these. I'm going to Control C to copy and paste. I'm going to move it here. My next option, I'm going to have just a different color so that it's easy to see. Let's make it a green. Okay, notice my text is hard to read. So if I select it all, I can change my text to black. Okay, and my second option is going to be to run. Okay, and the run storyline is going to start at slide 8. So let's go into slide 8. Let's rename it, and let's call that slide 8 run. Okay, so back to this slide. Let's center that. Click on this, and let's go to the 3 dots to add a link. Okay, our link is going to be to, let's see. Oh, you know what? I already have a link on there, so I'm going to have to delete the link first. Let's see if I can delete the link. Okay, so edit link. All right, let's see. I don't want to introduce. I want to go to slide 8, which I don't see here. So we might have to delete this. Sorry about that, guys. Instead of doing that, let's come back to our elements. Let's drag this out. Let's kind of center it. Let's change the color of it. It looks like for some reason my link was tied to it. So let's create a new link. Okay, so let's go to link, and this time I'm going to go to page 8. So this is where the story goes if we choose to run. So on run, let's just go to elements. Let's look for a pumpkin, because maybe we're going to end up in a pumpkin patch when we run. Okay, so let's start the story and let's play it. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to click. Now choose if you want a spooky story. Oh, and I have something that's wrong. So let's see what I didn't do right. So coming back to spooky story. So spooky story, let's check that link. And my link is I want to go to slide 3. We must have forgotten to do that. So let's try it again. So present, moving forward. I'm going to click here for the spooky story. And it's still going to the wrong place. Why is that? Oh, I'm clicking on the link. I'm clicking on the text. So can I put a link on the text? So link on the text. We're going to go to start of the spooky story. Okay, I don't like the way it looks with all these underlines, so I'm going to get rid of them. And let's try it again from the top. Okay, easy to make mistakes. Okay, so here's the beginning of the story, and I can either introduce myself to the couple or I could run. Let's see what happens when I click on run. I go to slide 8. So remember, tip here, make sure that you put the link on the text and also on the shape. Okay, so I'm looking for an interesting story. Maybe it's scary, maybe it's funny, but be creative and have fun with this project.